everybody, today's minute review will be on Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I am so freaking happy I decided to pick up Throne of Glass and recommend it to my book club because that's why I read it, because my book club's reading it. And oh my gosh, this book was freaking fantastic. Sadly, it took me like 2 weeks to finish it just because I've been so busy, and I don't know, it's just like, it usually takes me about a day or two to finish this good of a book, but it just took me 2 weeks this time. But I finally finished it and I loved every single second of it. So in this day and age, we have a ton of main lead female characters that are just so strong. But let me just say, Selena really sets herself apart from the crowd. She is such a badass character. She is just so awesome, and I love her character so much. I just found it so enjoyable to read this book from her point of view because just her train of thought was amazing too. It was just so enjoyable, and she was just such a strong character, and I'm just so happy that a character like this exists. I really like how this book is laid out because it's from multiple points of views from different characters, and there wasn't specific chapters that were dedicated to one character's point of view. It really alternates throughout the chapters, and I really enjoy books like that. The whole entire premise to this novel is so compelling and just so fantastic, and it really drew me in from the start. Like, go Selena for surviving a freaking death camp and being an assassin at age 17. Like, I'm 17. And oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine myself doing half the things she does. Not even half of them, like just no. I could not imagine being put in her shoes and doing the things she does. And then comes the characters Dorian and Kale, and oh my gosh, so much hotness for one book. But I like the way that the romance was played out because it wasn't the main premise of this novel. It really took a backseat to the whole entire plotline, and I really enjoyed that about this book. I really hate when books really push a relationship and really force it and just feels forced and unnatural. And this book definitely really paced out its storyline and its romance very well. So the whole entire premise of this book is just so cool. Like, assassins competing against each other to be the champion of the king. Like, who thinks of that? That's like a really good idea. It's like the Hunger Games, but on more steroids, but nobody gets really killed during the competition, unless it's their doing. Then that's their fault and not somebody else's. Yeah? So let's talk about Dorian. Dorian is such an interesting character, and he really does a lot to the story. I really like his character in the way that he brings a little bit of light fluffiness to the story, because without that, the story can be pretty dark, but it's still really interesting because Selena is such a sarcastic character sometimes. It really also brings some light and fluffiness to the story, and really their two characters together is just so much fun to read about, and they're really just like really awesome together. But that does not mean that them together romantically is my choice, because maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but there's a love triangle in this story between Selena, Kale, and Dorian, and it's like either or, and it's really difficult because both the guys are really awesome. Like Kale, he's a really strong guy. He's the captain of the guard. He's like 22 years old, and he's a very serious guy at the beginning of the novel, but he kind of unravels into this great character towards the middle and end of the novel, and I really enjoyed him. And that's why it makes it so difficult to choose who do you want to be with Selena, and it's like you still have another few books. Like, the series is going to be over the course of 5 to 6 books, so you really have some time to adjust to the characters and see which one you want to be with Selena more. So I think that right now I have a pretty good idea of who I want to be with her, but that probably will change later on in the novel. This whole entire book is just so fantastic. Just good job, Sarah, for creating such a good book and world. Like, it's really interesting how she brings these kind of fantasy aspects into this novel, because this novel can be very high fantasy too, and I love the way that she brings it in because it's not very, this world is full with magic as it is. There's magic underneath everything, and that comes to light later on in the novel, and that's really interesting to see it unfold and kind of see the hidden secrets that are being kept hidden by certain people, and it's just so interesting. There's very much a mystery aspect to this novel, and I really like that because the mystery is very well played out, and you didn't really expect the ending, honestly. Like, you expected somewhat of it, but like, I'm really happy about the ending. I really like how it was played out, and it was not very short, but it was not very long, so it was just the perfect length for an ending. It did not drag. It was very interesting, and it really put together all the pieces that were missing throughout the whole entire novel and really brought together in a very nice way. Another one of my favorite parts in this book is the character development of Selena, because she is put into a freaking death camp at the beginning of this novel, and then she's being taken out of it by Dorian because he wants to use her as his champion for the competition. And I just think it's really interesting seeing her at such a weak state at the beginning of this book and seeing her grow as a character also and grow as a strong individual and bulk up and actually become the person she was before she was sent to the death camps. And I think that's really interesting seeing her character develop into the character she was before she was sent to the death camps a year before. And it was really interesting seeing that transformation and sort of uncover the secrets that she holds within, and just seeing her become such an amazing, strong character that you always knew she could be, but she just didn't have the capability to show at the beginning of the novel because she just got back from a death camp. Like, that's obvious. Like, you're not going to be the person that you used to be after you got sent to a freaking death camp and got whipped 3 times on the back and have these horrible scars on your back. Like, no. This book is just so good, guys. I feel like in order to have a really good high fantasy novel, you have to have the plotline really set out and very well described in a not complex way. And I think that Sarah J. Maas really achieved that in this book, because this book was just fantastic and I loved it so much. So guys, I really enjoyed this book, and I hope you guys do too. I hope you enjoyed my review on Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. I just think it says Maas, whatever. So guys, I highly recommend this book to any of you high fantasy lovers out there. And if you have read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, please tell me what team you're on, Team Dorian or Team Kale. I'm team I don't know yet, because I don't know. I need to read the next book, Crown of Midnight. So thank you guys for watching my review, and I'll see you again for my next minute review coming to you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!